Probably get a minute or two of notification before those storms start to move in your particular direction. So again, now is the time to make a preparations for the storms. You notice that there is not a lot of lightning with these. They're starting to build a little bit, but these are going to be some surprise showers coming into the area. And we're going to be doing some streaming on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So if you want to stay with us for that, we will get back to a regular programming here in just a moment. But I wanted to recap. We have a severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado that's coming up into southwestern Kalamazoo County, and this warning will be in effect until 3 p.m. And for Allegan and Berry counties further to the north. In other words, keep an eye on the weather outside your door and window here this afternoon. And again, you can be watching us on Facebook and YouTube Live to get the very latest weather information. If you're staying with us on the air, watching General Hospital perhaps, or Judge Judy later on this afternoon, you can watch the crawl across the bottom and the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen for the very latest weather information. In the meantime, I'm Chief Meteorologist George Lessons live in the 13 on Your Side Weather Center.
This was a severe weather alert from 13 on Your Side.
Went up into southwestern Kalamazoo County. I'm going to do a little tracking on the one down that it's moving into the southwestern part of that particular county, because that's the one of real concern right now.
Yep.
I could see, Sam, that this area just to the southwest of Schoolcraft, where that green and red come very close together, that is the area of concern. And this is going to be moving probably north of Schoolcraft with the next radar scan, because the radar scan's coming in about every 2 to 3 minutes. These things are translating so quickly to the north and east very, very rapidly. I would imagine that in the next 5 to 10 minutes, it's actually going to be up in here. So anywhere to the north, I should say west and northwest of Schoolcraft, southeast of Manawan, right in here is where I think you should be considering going to a place of safe shelter because of that.
Absolutely. And that place of safe shelter, of course, depends on where you're at right now. If you're in school, if you're in a business in those locations, that's going to be an interior hallway or into a basement that has no windows. You want to stay as far away from the windows as those winds, of course, could whip the windows in. So that's why we say that's going to be one of your safest locations. If you're in a house, if you have a basement, that's still going to be your safest spot. And then, of course, mobile homes never safe in the case of a tornadic activity. So go ahead and find your safe shelter. Hopefully you have had that planned out. At this point in time, though, these storms, again, racing off to the north and east, they're a very, very quick moving system. Right now, what George has up on the screen here is storm rotation, now switching over to radar. And this is a different type of storm. We call this a QLCS. That's the fancy term for it. And that just means a fast moving line of storms that can quickly indicate rotation within that band of storms as it does move. You get inflow from the thunderstorm cell behind it, or outflow, I should say. And then you have the winds, which are moving in from the east southeast today, blowing into that storm. And that creates rapidly rotating cells in that quick band.
I'm looking at some storm tracks that the radar puts out, and they're not even tracking any kind of rotation within these, but sometimes the algorithms are not as good as the human eye here, and thank goodness we have Doppler radar. This is the area that looks really interesting right now, to meteorologists anyway.
Yep.
Probably very frightening to everybody else. This is west of 131. North of the Kalamazoo, St. Joseph County line. This one's moving very rapidly. You'll have maybe a minute or two to react. So react now.
Absolutely. And this storm is headed to the north and east at 60 miles per hour. So in its path, you have places like Portage, Schoolcraft. Those are the areas that need to be seeking shelter from this storm. Even places from Kalamazoo stretching up through Eastwood, Comstock Northwest. Those are areas that this storm is headed to. While you're not necessarily in the direct path of that rotation at this point in time, it is tracking off to the north and east, and again, moving very, very quickly. Now, the National Weather Service does have this storm and the severe thunderstorm warning extending a little bit further north. George, we want to check up on Allegan County, heading towards Berry County, stretching through Watson, Wayland, that area. In that portion of the storm? Yeah,
let's go into that area and take a look and track some storms as well. The main one, though, I'm a little concerned with is that one down there. I see in Otsego County there are also some particular areas of concern. Let me get all my scribblings off the map here and scroll on up further here. A lot of this looks like just wind shear along the line. All of this activity here is, let me draw on, this is this is outbound. This is going in this direction, and this is the air going toward the radar. So where I would be concerned is right in through here. That's in Ashtimo, also further north. As you mentioned, up in Allegan County, this area right in through here has some rotation, a lot of wind coming toward the radar, a lot of air going away from the radar. So this area right in here is what I would be concerned with, but any of these areas could have winds up to 50, 60 miles per hour, and that's kind of the shear. I see wind 30 mile per hour here. 20 miles an hour, so if you do the difference, that's about a 50 mile an hour wind shear right in through here. And that is in portions of eastern Allegan County. So again,
yeah, and that line of strong winds, eastern Allegan County, headed towards places like Caledonia, making its way towards Middleville, Irving, Orangeville. That's the way, and that's the track that this path of storms is currently taking. Wayland right now within the thick of those winds.
I'm going to do a little bit of track rotation. I find that this track rotation helps me out and helps our viewers out, show where they're moving from and where they're moving to familiarize yourself again. This is Allegan County here, this is Berry County, this is Kalamazoo County. This is the one we're tracking coming up into southwest Kalamazoo County right now. Some minor rotations up here in southeastern Allegan County. Also a few south of Hastings, just crossing the Kalamazoo-Berry County line. Those are the areas that people have to be concerned about. If you live and you can kind of tell where you are on a map and where you are in relationship to all of those are the folks that really need to pay attention.
Absolutely.
If you're in Bangor, Allegan, Holland, South Haven, you're going to get some showers, some gusty winds.
But those aren't the storms
Those aren't the storms that we're tracking.
Yeah, so for those of you that are just joining us streaming, right now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for eastern Allegan County, western Berry County, and Kalamazoo County. This severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 3 p.m. at this point in time, but these storms are moving really, really quickly to the north-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. with inside these storms, we have about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and it's not only just the winds, but it's the little areas of rotation that we're seeing along the band of storms that has our attention. And so while this is only a severe thunderstorm warning, it is indicated with the threat of a tornado possible. That is something that the National Weather Service does. It's not necessarily a tornado warning, but we want you to take it as seriously as though it was a tornado warning or is a tornado warning because of that potential rotation within this storm that we're seeing.
Looking to see if I could pick up any kind of shear inside this. Once again, Sam, this is the area of concern. I'm looking at this is now just crossing US 131 up in southern or southwestern Kalamazoo County, a little further north. You can see a little bit of rotation up here east of Allegan along US 131. As you mentioned, Sam, these are moving so fast that you're going to have little time to react. So take your precautions now.
Absolutely. Are we able to take, George, a broader picture of radar and maybe throw a track on the overall line of storms?
Yes, we can do
If
that.
we can,
Let me get
that.
right out here while it's looking at, there we go. Well, that's a really far view, is it? There we go. That's not what you had in mind,
Extra
right?
zoomed out. That's okay.
I'm looking at also in Allegan, or in Ottawa County. There's a pretty good line of storms coming into Ottawa County right now along US 31.
Yes, there is.
Tell me where to drive, Sam.
Yeah, if you're headed on US 130 or US 31 through Holland, definitely some strong winds along there. Not quite as strong of winds as in the line that's currently stretching from Wayland down through Plainwell at this point in time.
Let me see what I can pull in terms of the velocity along this line. There's one really tiny dot there I'm a little concerned with, right?
South of West Olive.
South of West Olive, just north of Port Sheldon, west of 120th. This is so small, so narrow. This is probably, 500 yards wide. But if you're right in this area south of West Olive, it's probably already crossed US 31 at the rate it's moving. Yeah, this is going to be moving through Ottawa County in the next half an hour or so. So if you are in Ottawa County, I know that you are not in the warned area, but that's got just as much potential for strong winds over 60 miles an hour as any of the warned areas here in West Michigan.
Absolutely, and that's the nature of these storms, right? They're not big, bold storms that are making tons of noise. They're quick-moving little spin-ups of rotation within the storm. We talk about wind shear a lot in meteorology, and wind shear is the change in wind direction with height inside of a storm, and that's the big thing at play here, and that is the key ingredient that can cause tornadic activity to form. And while we're missing a lot of the other ingredients that necessarily make the big, bold storms in terms of making a lot of noise or producing hail or heavy bursts of rain, we do still have that wind shear element at play. Yeah, not a ton of thunder and lightning with this one.
Yeah, these are going to be surprise systems when they come in. We'll call them severe showers. Back in the control room, if we can take a picture of the Snug Harbor Tower Cam, that would be awesome. You'll be able to see that it's coming down really good right now in the Snug Harbor area. And maybe we'll get our own camera. I don't know if we can. Storm views, let's do that. Yeah, let's call up the camera over there in the Grand Haven area. There we go, that's the Snug Harbor view. You can see pretty good heavy downpours. I'm not looking, I don't see a lot of wind-whipped rain there, do you? I do not at this moment.
No, and it kind of looks like that storm now has moved a bit further inland, or at least the strongest line of winds is continuing to move pretty quickly inland. But yeah, the rain coming down with it. These are just such fast-moving storms at this point in time.
Yep, the camera view from the Energy Park camera in Holland. It looks wet, but at this point, I don't even see, let's go up to the Muskegon Tower cam. Yeah, you can see kind of the ominous looking sky.
Some low-hanging clouds there.
Low-hanging cloud. I'm interested in this stuff up here. It's very interesting.
Yes.
I don't, yeah, see how quickly that moved across the frame there? They're almost going left to right. Yeah, this is such a high cloud base, I'm not exactly sure I would consider that being scary at this moment. Maybe the sky does look a little scary, yeah,
Right.
but definitely a lot of rain coming down in the Snug Harbor area.
And once these storms pass, at this point in time, we don't want you doing this, especially if you're within that hatched area for a severe thunderstorm warning. But once the storms pass, we would love any damage reports that you're receiving. You can text those reports to us at 616-559-1310. If you want to grab your phones, I'll repeat the number to you here in just a second. We love photos and videos to come along with that, not just necessarily, hey, there's a tree branch down. There you go. George has got the graphic ready. 616-559-1310 is the phone number that you can text, and that gets sent directly to us. You also can scan that QR code on your screen.
Shall we recap? I haven't seen any updates from the National Weather Service,
No
but
updates and no storm damage
no reports yet at the moment. So that is good news. I'm going to zoom on out for all of the warnings down in the Kalamazoo and Allegan County area. Again, you can read the screen just as well as I can there, Sam, as I drive.
Yes, absolutely. So we still have your severe thunderstorm warning in place until 3 p.m. this afternoon as a line of possibly strong to severe storms. Well, we do know they're severe. Whether or not there's a tornado possible, that is currently indicated as a potential threat. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, though, is going to be the main concern with these storms. They are currently working their way towards the areas now of Hastings. They're going to continue to work to the north and east, right? So whether or not you are in the line of storms, you want to make sure that those of you headed towards, let's say, Lowell, Clarksville, Saranac, Alto, that's the direction of this strong line of storms. Cascade, you're also going to see that. You're not necessarily in the alert at this point in time, but with these storms moving at 50+ miles per hour, that's the track that they're headed to. So until this severe thunderstorm warning is expired, we want to make sure that you are in your shelter location. Shelter location includes a basement because this does have that torr possible embedded within the storm itself.
I just heard our alert system go off.
Yes, our alert system did just go off with the potential for another alert.
Yes, they may be updating what's going on. This will be an update on the severe thunderstorm warning. Actually, this is going to be a new, no, that's the one that was in there from before. So we're all good. I don't see anything new coming in at the present time, Sam.
Okay.
So no new alerts out of the National Weather Service here in Grand Rapids as of yet.
That's great to hear. If we do get any new alerts, we are going to continue to cut in both on air and online to make sure that we are giving you the most accurate and up-to-date forecast all throughout the day today. This is the broader picture of things here. Once we get past this area and this initial round of cells, you can see off to the south and west of us, there's not quite as much activity going on. So 6 o'clock tonight, I think we can let our guards down a little bit and we won't have to be babysitting the radar quite as much here in the Weather Center. But until then, making sure that you're weather aware, taking these alerts seriously, because at this point in time, again, we're still continuing to track the potential for rotation within the storm itself. And as we continue on throughout the afternoon hours here, we're going to monitor the radar very, very closely. George, do you want to continue streaming, or do you want to wrap up until we potentially get some more alerts?
Let's wait until at least we have another 20 minutes here until the warning is extended or expires. I think a lot of folks are a little concerned at this point.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm going to stay on.
Yeah, let's stay on.
If you want to stay on, we'll stay on for you. I know it's hard to get severe weather information in live severe weather information in a lot of locations. So we're here for our viewers, our listeners, our watchers. So we're going to stay on, I think.
Absolutely.
As Sam is looking through all of our graphics here.
I'm clicking through. I got to make sure that we're covering all of our bases here. I do want to talk to you a little bit about, there's that storm rotation. Yeah, this storm working through Berry County right now. Seeing a little bit of rotation in there as that line of showers is working its way through.
A lot of heavy downpours as well. You know, it's going to rain very heavily for like 15 minutes, and you'll go, oh my gosh, you know, the end is coming. Where's the thunder and lightning? I don't know where the thunder and lightning is. Yeah, these are very unusual storms. All of the, what we call the atmospheric ingredients for what we all associate with severe thunderstorms has been, you know, it's got to be a roaring freight train with a lot of lightning and all of this humid weather. None of those are present today. A very unusual kind of spring weather pattern. It's all because the winds at 4,000 feet are like 50 miles per hour, and these storms are moving at 60 miles an hour. So you get those storms moving at 60 miles an hour, and it just happens to pull down a little bit of that air from up above. And you add those two together, you get 60, 70 mile per hour winds in a very short period of time, and there's no lightning with them. And you go, well, this is very unusual, but that's what's happening here this afternoon. Heavy downpours, very little, if any, lightning, and a quick moving storm system. I see Sam is doing that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw a track on it since it's moving so quickly. How do you feel about that track, George?
That looks as good as anything I could do, absolutely. So
those of you in Portage experiencing the storm at this point in time, Cascade 249, that's how quickly this storm is moving from Portage to Cascade in just a couple minute period of time, moving off to the northeast at around 50 to 60 miles per hour. Those of you in Lowell, you are not underneath this severe thunderstorm warning at this point in time, but the storm is headed your way. Also, those of you in Belding, eventually it could make it that far off to the north. At this point in time, though, it is currently only eastern portions of Allegan County, Berry County, as well as Kalamazoo County. I will say that a large majority at this point in time of those of you in Allegan County are almost out of the main line of this storm. As it continues to work its way off to the north and east, it looks like just to right now the east of Wayland. Moving off to the north and east, we're still seeing some heavy bursts of rain and a strong line of wind, as well as to the east there of Martin. But this is the current track of those showers and storms as they progress off to the north and east. And go ahead, George, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on our tower cams that concern me. I'm looking at the Snug Harbor tower cam offline here, and the storm has already passed. Breaks in the clouds already. I don't even think it's raining there. Raining a little bit. So that was a quick 10 or 15 minute heavy rain shower, and as you're showing there on the radar, that's already passed through the Grand Haven area, the back edge of that line. So that threat for Grand Haven, Ferrysburg, all gone. But now folks in Fruitport, it's already, the leading edge is there. Cloverville, in about 1 minute. I'm looking at the clock. Oh no, it's there according to the clock. Coopersville in about 6 minutes?
6 minutes or so. So very short, very little lead time. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, these storms aren't quite here yet, I have a little bit of time. Well, now is the time to prepare so that you can take action relatively quickly once you start to hear that heavier burst of rain overhead. We do suggest, with the nature of these storms, that you're in a sheltered location, not necessarily because there's tons of thunder and lightning associated with this, but because of how strong and dynamic the winds are, and that there's that potential for a spin up. Even those of you in Ravenna, you've got a good amount of lead time at this point. 10 minutes to make sure you know where your shelter location is at as this quick moving line of storms makes its way towards you. But again, that band of storms is not necessarily currently severe thunderstorms warned, but we have seen indications and just very rapid changes in our radar imagery of spin up within the storms themselves. The only active severe thunderstorm warning right now is still in play for Allegan County, Berry County, and Kalamazoo County. Concerning major cities such as Kalamazoo as well as Portage.
So the warning that you're seeing there on the screen was issued at 2:16, so that's 30 minutes ago. No updates out of the Weather Service concerning that area of storms. That line is broken up quite a bit there. Now it looks more what we call individual or discrete cells. The one east of Kalamazoo, the one south of Kalamazoo, that was all part of one line. What I'm thinking, Sam, is that was part of a line, but there was some acceleration wind behind that line, and so it's kind of pushed them out into pieces now. It's pushed out this area right in through here. The wind came in so strong from the southwest that it broke this little piece off here, and now there's a break in here, there's a break in here, so it's all very disruptive. Any one of those could produce those 60 mile per hour winds. Any one of these little cells here, this one here, all the way up and through here.
Absolutely. Do we want to check back on velocity and see if we are seeing any rotation within the storm
I see that one over there by Orangeville. That looks interesting. And we apologize for the word interesting.
Intriguing. It has
Intriguing.
our attention.
It has our attention. That is a better word, Sam. It has our attention. I'm going to put a little severe velocity on this. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. If you're in Orangeville, that's eastern Berry County, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Just on the edge of Allegan County.
Yeah, right in through here. That has probably already moved from that area. So you may have already witnessed or experienced the gusty winds there. If you've got any pictures or photos after the storm moves through, that would certainly be helpful. That's the radar right there. Going to go back to the severe velocity. Yep, that has not changed at all. Moving so rapidly that it's just crazy to try to track these storms. These are going that way. And any one of these areas where there's a lot of red and green next to each other, that are just little bit mini spin-ups right in here.
And that little area of rotation making its way towards M179 currently, and then off to the north and east of that is the city of Middleville. This Orangeville, this rotation is just now, right now, to the south and east of Gun Lake, the actual lake, not the casino.
Yes.
And again, it's making its way towards the intersection of M179 and M37. So that's the track of this storm at this current point in time that is by the National Weather Service issued as a severe thunderstorm warning with TOR possible within the storm itself.
I can see on the, did a little bit of a 15-minute rotation in here. You can see how quickly that just pushed in here.
Do we have any debris signatures within the storm?
I do not think so. Jumped right in there. It's pretty, that's not what I wanted. I was not anticipating that. This is all just kind of muddled here. What we're looking for is debris potential. The way I describe what the radar would see in here, all this red color, where it's all uniform, all the same color, the radar is looking to see is there a difference between one part of the storm next to another, and if they look virtually the same, that means all the raindrops are the same size. So that's not a big deal. There is a huge difference between a raindrop and a 2x4.
Right, and if you start to see those 2x4s flying up into the atmosphere, the radar picks up on them differently.
And it would show so much different colors than just red. So it looks like, there might be a little bit of lofted debris in here, maybe just some leaves or something like that. Nothing, no 2x4s.
Right, no 2x4s. So at this point in time, this is good news. This is what we want to be seeing, because that means that while yes, we're seeing rotation, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is impacting those areas. But again, that's something we take very, very seriously. And just because we aren't necessarily getting ground reports does not mean that you should leave your shelter location. You should still stay in your shelter location at this time. It does look as though we've gotten a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued or a cancellation, which let me see what's printing here.
Let's see what we got here.
Remains in effect.
It looks like it remains in effect. So you go ahead and read it right off there, Sam.
Yeah, so we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 3 p.m. Continue on throughout this afternoon. This is
not only radar indicated now, I see. So they took the tornado possible out of it.
Oh, that's great news. So yeah, as we mentioned, not seeing a ton of to these storms. Once we kind of lose that line energy, George mentioned breaking off into discrete cells, that can weaken the storm itself, which is great news. So we've taken off the threat now for TOR possible. This is still a severe thunderstorm warning at this point in time, and that means 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. You do not necessarily need to have tornadic activity for a storm to be dangerous. You don't need to have thunder and lightning for a storm to be dangerous. Winds themselves can cause a lot of hazards and a lot of harm, so we want and suggest that you remain indoors at this point in time until that severe thunderstorm warning expires. Again, this is still for Allegan County, Berry County, and Kalamazoo County. For those of you on western portions of Allegan County, you do not have anything to be concerned about with this storm. This is far eastern portions, east of Wayland, east of Dorr, that's experiencing the stronger band of storms.
I'm going to zoom in on a couple of things of interest here, Sam. I wonder, this is the same storm that's been just kind of hanging out, I think, around Orangeville. I wonder if this is just a radar anomaly, because that has sat there for
Quite a
while, and these things are moving so quickly. There's your Gun Lake Road that you mentioned. There's a little bit of, right in through here, a little bit. There's a little bit right here. When you see the red and green really close to each other, that's the area. This is Berry County. For those of you looking here, Middleville, there's some very weak rotation right in through here. This is more akin to some gusty winds moving up a line of storms. Similar here, gusty winds. It's just all not in the wrong place, because the winds, as they're moving along and toward the radar, this is air going this way and going this way. That's the wrong kind of rotation. This might be an area of concern. This is just east of Dorr along 142nd Avenue. These are going to be very hard to track, and that's why the warning covers such a large area, Sam, because that's interesting. That's not where I set that up, but the warning is so broad that it could happen anywhere within that area.
Within that area. And the reason that is, and many of you, maybe if you're a weather enthusiast or love weather the way that we do, you might be looking at these and saying, okay, these are not the normal storms that they would be cutting in to get our attention about. But this is a different type of storm. We call it a QLCS, if you want to Google it.
Quasi-linear
convective system.
Thank you.
And that just means that it's forming a linear storm, right? It's forming in a line from north to south, and that can cause there to be really strong winds on the backside and then really strong winds flowing into it from the front. And we know if you've got that back end wind and the front end wind that you can spin up tornadoes really, really easily within that line and within that band of storms. So this is not your supercell. This is not that big storm that rolls in off Lake Michigan and you pull out the camera because you got to get a photo of it. This is a different type of storm. They move very, very quickly, they develop quickly, and they end quickly.
I'm going to look at these, since we've kind of beaten up those storms in Berry County, for some of our folks here in northern Allegan, northern Ottawa County, and eastern Muskegon County, these look interesting. These have been
headed towards Ravenna.
Heading toward Ravenna. Those are the ones that we were tracking earlier. That could impact areas north and west of Grand Rapids right now. I'm going to do a little velocity scope on this to see if there's anything. Just quiet weather. It's gusty winds. You can see the winds bowing out from that.
Wind profile, definitely strong. So for those of you, Moreland, Ravenna, Wright, Coopersville in it right now, and then even headed up towards Grant, Ashland, Casanova, Sparta, Wright. This next band is headed towards you. If you haven't already, you've got your trash can outside and you don't have the rain heavy over you, these are the type of storms that are going to blow those right over and on into your neighbor's yard. These are strong, gusty winds. Not necessarily severe warned, but I would not be surprised if we get some tree branches down and things of that nature with this band.
Oh, I went too far, Sam. I did have the track on it right in through here. This is the leading edge. There we go. There you go.
There's your arrival times along with
Coopersville. Yeah, it's there, right on top of you. You have, 4 minutes in Ravenna. Moving into northwestern portions of the city of Walker, that's at 3:04. It's in about 9 minutes or so. Sparta, 3:08. Newaygo, 3:13. You got 5 minutes at most to react to these. Not storm warned.
Not storm warned.
But certainly the potential for.
But certainly strong gusty winds along that line of storms. Anytime we see that bowing nature within a line of storms, we know that that's going to indicate the potential for some wind damage along the cell itself. But again, these are not frequent thunder and lightning makers. We can take a look at thunder and lightning, seeing a little bit of lightning, but not a ton of oomph to these storms overall in terms of them being high in the atmosphere, producing a lot of thunder and lightning. So the storms that are currently severe thunderstorm warned for Kalamazoo, Berry County, as well as eastern portions of Allegan County. None of those are producing any thunder and lightning. It is all the storms that are in portions of Ottawa County, Muskegon County, as well as Newaygo, and those storms will eventually clip northwestern portions of Kent County, including places such as Sparta, within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so here.
I'm using our radar scope over on the other computer, Sam, and I'm noticing that even the winds aloft, some of the strongest winds aloft, are only 38 miles an hour.
Okay.
They're up about 1,000 feet above the ground, so these are kind of not severe. This is the one south of Ravenna that I'm tracking with the highest wind gusts, and right now it's only 38 miles per hour. I'm going to switch down to the ones near Hastings and south of there. I see some wind gusts to 50 south of Hastings, but again, that's about 2,000 or 3,000 feet above the ground. And as I mentioned, the winds at about 3,000 feet are just blowing at 50 miles an hour. And all it takes is a little downdraft to knock that wind down to the ground. That's where you get your brief gusts. And
that's where you get your little pocket of damage. So for something to be severe thunderstorm strength, let's talk about that just a little bit. What actually makes a storm severe thunderstorm strength? Well, when a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, which is what we have in effect until 3 p.m., we've got 3 minutes left of it, that means that there is either hail, an inch in diameter or larger. These storms are not producing hail at this point in time. 58 plus mile per hour wind gusts, as George just mentioned. That is, of course, something that we're monitoring closely, and then the potential for a spin-up tornado. There is no severe thunderstorm watch in place. The National Weather Service did mention that that is something that they could see the potential of happening, but at this point in time, it might be a little bit too late for that to occur. We do still have a couple minutes left, though, on our current severe thunderstorm warning.
I'm looking at some of the observed peaked wind gusts on a different computer, Sam. Gust to 33 in Holland, gust to 32 in Kalamazoo at the National Weather Service office, but that would mean that that rotation would have to come right over the airport. So these may not be representative of what actually is happening at your particular location. There was a wind gust to 51 down in Benton Harbor earlier. But most of the wind gusts have been sub-severe, certainly not over 60 miles per hour, at least at the observing locations. That doesn't mean that didn't happen in your location. I'm looking at some of the other cameras here as well to see if I can pick up anything on our cameras that would indicate strong stormy winds. Our live camera there out of Walker, not available here.
Live camera out of Walker shows a little bit of rain coming down. That pulled up for you.
Looks like almost a tranquil day.
Yeah, it is so funny how quickly
air.
these storms are moving, and how some areas are looking so quiet, so calm, and other areas currently underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. So it really just depends on your location, what you're experiencing. If you did not get a ping to your phone about these severe thunderstorm warnings and you're in Allegan, Berry, Kalamazoo County, download the 13 on your side weather app. That app, you can turn on severe weather notifications. You can have it follow your location as well. So no matter where you head, where you travel, you can make sure that you're remaining weather aware and safe. We've got 1 minute or so left of this current severe thunderstorm warning. We really appreciate anybody who stuck with us through streaming online. And if you got to us just a little too late, you wished that you would have known more, you wish you would have known faster to be able to tune in, we send you updates on our social media accounts, so go ahead and follow them, turn on those notifications. And if you have any damage from these storms, you can share your photos and videos with us by scanning the QR code that's now up on your screen. So go ahead and grab your cell phones. This QR code is currently on your screen and you can scan it. Or if that's not something you want to do, you can text STORM to 616-559-1310.
Yeah, go ahead,
George.
Sam.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to look at Consumers Energy outage maps, and actually I want to take this panel off because that is not the current some old data from the last time we had outages here in West Michigan. So I'm working with Consumers Energy on to automate that, and
that would be nice.
That would be very nice. But you can see that there are a few scattered power outages that I can see, and let me do county view here. This is in Muskegon County. Looks like there are 1,413 customers without power, and it looks like it's going to get right down to the nitty-gritty here. Looks like it's an area to the south of Apple Avenue, east of 31. It looks like it's right in this vicinity. And that's where the majority of the power outages are right now in Muskegon County around Evanston Avenue.
Okay, so right along that line that we were zooming in on for a little bit there, not necessarily severe warned, but goes to show it doesn't necessarily need a severe thunderstorm warning on it for it to be a strong and cause damage, a strong storm to cause damage. And it does look like
another storm, power outages northeast over toward the Cannonsburg area. This is 711 customers that likely occurred with some gusty winds. I see another one over here in Ottawa County. This has 167 customers southeast of Borculo, South Blendon Township, northeast of Zeeland. Right now, 2,800 folks without power. Perhaps there are more down toward Kalamazoo, but I don't see any. So yeah, these are some gusty showers that are causing some scattered power outages.
great. And it looks, George, like they have canceled our severe thunderstorm warning, or it has expired at this point in time. We'll take one final broad view here of our satellite and radar to show you what's currently happening. We want to make sure that you're remaining weather aware now, continuing on until about 6 o'clock tonight. By 6 o'clock, if not even a little bit earlier, especially for those of you along the lakeshore, we want to make sure that you're remaining weather aware, staying attuned to the forecast, and making sure that you are engaged in terms of those alerts. You know your shelter location, you know your safe spot. These storms have fallen below severe criteria, which means that that warning that was prompted earlier is no longer needed, and there's no longer an immediate threat to any life or property with this current line and band of showers and storms.
Yes, I see. That's the statement
Yes,
that
that's
came
the
out. That's the
statement.
Sam hid it from me. No, she was fine. Do you want to? Do you think for our folks that are watching us on Facebook and YouTube? I think we are going to wrap up our coverage. What do you think?
I would agree. I think we're okay. And of course, if they need us, if we're going to be here, we're tracking
Absolutely.
these storms until they're done. So not to worry if for any reason at any point in time, we are going to be here monitoring this radar, and we'll cut in if appropriate.
Yep. Okay. That's great. So thank you, Sam, for hanging out. She's had a long day. You were here at what time this morning?
Oh, maybe 3 a.m.
Okay.
Who's counting?
And now it's 3 p.m., so she's put in a 12-hour day. I came in early today, 12:30
Yes,
normally.
we appreciate you coming in early. We appreciate all of you viewers for sticking with us. Again, you can get those updates from us on air and online all day long.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Sam. Meteorologist Sam Jacks and Chief Meteorologist George Lessons wrapping it up in the 13 on Your Side Weather Center. Have a safe afternoon.